Hey guys, I'm trying to keep up with one video a week at least. If work is slow, I'll try to do one every day. Shorter videos are easier. But I wanted to go back to some of the things I was talking about last time: controlling your emotions, language trends, self loyalty. And the last video was tribal blinders. And I wrote this list the week before last, midweek, because I had those ideas I just wanted to come up with and talk about. And then I watched Jordan Peterson and self loyalty. He is the icon for self loyalty. His beliefs, he stands by them, and I think that's part of what I was trying to get across or to share is that self loyalty is so huge. That means no matter what's going on around you, don't muffle your beliefs. Don't adhere to what the crowd wants you to think or believe or say. Stay true to yourself. Self-loyalty. That also applies to relationships. There's one thing that ties every relationship together is that, male or female, is that you kind of lose yourself. You try to conform a little bit to make a better fit between the two of you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a little bit of compromise with every relationship, and that's fair. It's totally fair, and that's what you want to do to sustain, to make the relationship grow and keep going. And you might pick up good qualities from your partner. They might pick up good things with you, so you kind of conform. Nothing wrong with that, but as far as self-loyalty, you have to make sure that you don't lose too much of yourself. And that's not just in a relationship. That's with your opinions, with the way you dress, how you express yourself. You don't, you can do what you want to do, right? I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just saying my opinion. So bear with me. I'm sorry. Following the crowd is something everybody wants to do to fit in. But it seems like if you look at any crowd, the people that draw the most attraction are, I'm not talking about male, female, I'm just the most attention are the ones that stand out. And if they express themselves authentically, not fake, not just to put up a show, if they express themselves authentically and they're confident, they draw eyes to them. And people want to be around them because everybody wants to be that way. They want to be able to express themselves and be accepted. But that's the same reason that people express opinions that other people hand down to them is because they want to be accepted. Instead of saying the wrong thing where they're kicked out of the club, right? But when it comes down to that decision, it should be personal loyalty first. Meaning that if you believe it, you might be a little shy to say it, but don't let go of it. Keep it true to your heart. And I think just as simple as when you walk out of the house, right? You don't have to dress fancy. You don't have to wear a suit or anything, but represent yourself. Right? Step out clean, you could wear a t-shirt and jeans, have it put together, and look clean. That's a big part. Act like you respect yourself. And that's a big thing. And that's personal loyalty. It's like you're staying true to representing yourself. Same thing with the opinions, with your beliefs, with your views. Stay true to representing yourself. That is, I remember when I was younger, of course, like in the high school days, even after that, when I went to school for broadcasting, I would observe and take a look at the people around me, and I'd try to keep my side because I had a white boy jerry curl. I was wearing jogging suits just like this way back then when nobody else was. I didn't quite fit in, but I tried to find a way to connect with people, and some of that did mean that I had to act a little different, right? That's the way I did it back then. I said, I got to act just a little bit different so I can allow myself to connect with these people, but they can still look at me like, okay, I'm a little bit different. I'm proud of being different. But I still have my personal loyalty. I didn't give up everything just to fit in. And it would be a shame if I did that because can I like myself? Can I love myself if I do that, right? I could fake it just like the other people are faking that they like me because I'm similar. The true people that I appreciate in my life are the ones that stand true to themselves. And even if they're different from me, they bring something to the table that I don't have, right? And that's something that's awesome. And I think that's what I'm saying when I say Staying true to yourself attracts other people. Like, you don't fall for the okey doke. You don't just say, give me my opinion, let me know what you believe, and I'll follow right along with you. You know, that tribalism, the tribal blinders, like I talked about. Stay true to yourself, whether it's your religion, your sexuality, your nutrition, yeah, whatever it is you, stay true to it. Stay loyal to yourself, because other people in your life are going to come, they're going to go. Even marriages come and go. Family, they die, right? Or you could die, whatever. Stay true to yourself. So you know, if you're on your deathbed, this is kind of grim. If you're on your deathbed and nobody's there to see you because they left for whatever reason, or they already passed away, whatever reason, you can lay there on your bed knowing that through all the thick and thin, through all the bullshit, that you stayed loyal to yourself. I had thought about it, and the last thing that I want to feel is that if I'm on my deathbed, that I conformed to other people's beliefs and ideas so I can fit in. I'd feel cheap as fuck for that. No doubt, no doubt. And I think I learned that when I was younger, that I moved around a lot to different schools, and there were different social cliques, and I maintained my independence. In fact, the last place I went to high school, I went from a suburb for elementary school, and then junior high, I lived in St. Paul. Then I went to St. Paul Central, very ethnically blended. They had, this was, way back in the days, 87, 88, 89. They had metal detectors, electronically controlled doors. So it was a tough school. But there were so many different nationalities represented, so many different cliques, so many different clubs, so many different cultures. That was great exposure for me. I in hindsight, I never would have chosen going to private school over that, or segregated school where it's mostly white. You know, of course, yeah, you feel more comfortable. It's more people like you. But to be exposed to that, different cultures and different personalities, it was amazing for me, like an eye-opener. To be able to connect with people from every different clique. I was never in a clique. Well, I think in St. Paul Central, you know, where they had the metal detectors, I think I was one of the guys that liked to make hip hop, and I had the white boy Jerry curl, jogging suits all the time. But then when I came up to Coon Rapids Senior High, more of a suburb of Minneapolis, there was guys or people that were jocks, sports related, rockers, preppies or nerds, whatever you want to call them. I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't. I was like the, and plus I was a white dude with Jerry curl wearing jogging suits. They were like in shock, like, what the hell is this? I was tested quite a bit. And that's where I realized that I do have a standoffishness if I feel like I'm disrespected. And that was at a young age. That was before I started working out. Something changed in me. I'm respectfully confrontational when it comes to being disrespected. I realized that back then. That's a good quality. Don't lose control of your emotions. Try not to, you know, and deal with the situation so people don't think they can just get away with it. And that's what I realized after I've been through a couple situations. I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I think for being, 16 at the time, that I dealt with that pretty well. I didn't overreact. I didn't instigate, but I addressed the situation so they didn't think that they could pull that shit on me all the time. Right? Or it was accepted by me, like walk all over me. You know, I think they were testing me as a person that they haven't dealt with before, somebody so different like that. So whatever, got through that, but I had personal loyalty. I didn't look around me and say, okay, I should either choose one of these clubs or I'm not going to fit in, whether it's the rockers, the preps, the sports enthusiasts. I would have fit in great with them after, 10 years later, I would have fit in great with them. But the thing is, we all have personality qualities that we can appreciate from one another. And that's different than what we choose to do, what our ambitions are, what our hobbies are. We're all humans. We can find a way to connect first. And like I was talking about in the last video, if you discuss something so hot as politics or religion with somebody, the first thing you should do is find a way to connect with them first. Find something that you agree on first. And that's what I did when I was 17. I wasn't a part of clubs. I didn't fit in any niche, or club or crowd. I was a foreign element in that high school. but I found a way. There's like 3 people that I connected with because they like the same things that I do. But find a way to connect with people, but still keep your personal loyalty is phenomenal. If you can do that, if you can stay true to yourself, but still connect with people on things that you agree on or that they appreciate that you appreciate, it's a chore to find those things that you might have in common or things that you both agree on. But I think that's what society needs to do more of, is find those things that we can connect on instead of immediately looking at the things we disagree on and saying, I can't deal with this person, I don't like this person. I've seen on dating websites, well, if you're a liberal, don't even bother. If you're a Trump supporter, don't even bother. Well, you can be very picky if you want to, but then you can also be alone. The thing is, it would be a challenge for somebody to be with somebody that thinks differently politically. I have been there. My mother and my stepdad, which stayed together until my stepdad passed, like 30 years. They had different politics, right? They disagreed on politics. But the thing is, if you find something you can connect on and the other person explains themselves, you can respect each other when it comes to a conversation and not shut each other down, like I talked in the last video, and it's not a hurdle. But if you shut each other down, contention, then it's a hurdle. But the thing is, if you're in a relationship and you can deal with that, being on different sides of the political spectrum, and still be together and sustain together, well, you're just proving that you overcame a problem, right? It's not a life-changing problem. You just think a little bit differently when it comes to certain things. They should always connect on certain values, the base values. But if you disagree on things and you can stay together, that means you can work through those problems. And that's a green flag in a relationship, regardless of the personal red flags, green flags that you have between the two of you. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what the differences are between people, opinions, hobbies, passions, all that stuff. If you find a way to connect, you can sit down and open up to each other a little bit. Because if you're defensive, you shut each other down. Like if somebody says, well, I don't like you because of this, because you believe this, well, kind of shuts you down. Like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If you find a way to sustain the conversation, then you can find more things that you identify with, that you connect on. And you might have a best friend or a girlfriend or a wife that you disagree with, but you connect with, right? It all comes down to being able to explain yourself, why your beliefs are what they are. So I can look at somebody or talk to somebody and on the surface, not really be too supportive of their belief or their opinion. But if they back it up, I can respect it. That's the difference. I don't have to believe their opinion. I don't have to take that as my own opinion. But if they back it up and explain it, I can respect it. I can say, well, I differ in my opinion, but I respect your opinion because you backed it up and I understand why you feel that way. We're not doing that in society nowadays. We're too busy shutting each other down and just like, well, you're part of this crowd, you're part of that crowd, just like in high school, right? You're part of that group. I can't associate with you. That's nonsense because humanity comes first and being American comes second, right? We're all trying to divide each other into groups, into races, into what your sexual preference is. That's all bullshit. You guys, I've been friends with people that, except for pedophilia, I can't be friends with somebody that's into that. But no matter what you're into, if that makes you happy and it doesn't hurt people, that's my libertarian side, right? Do it. Do it. If that makes you happy, you don't have to explain to me or anybody else if you're doing something that makes you happy and it doesn't hurt somebody, even when it comes to drugs. As long as you're not robbing and stealing to get money to pay for your drugs, if you just do your thing and then that makes you happy, you're putting your health at risk if that's what you want to do, but if you're an adult, so you can do that if you want to. The libertarian side is I like a lot about what they say. Small government and do what you do as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. It's none of my business as long as you're on the path to making yourself happy, because we all struggle with that, especially after COVID. Jumping back to Jordan Peterson, he doesn't compromise. When he believes something, he does not compromise, and that's his personal loyalty. He lost his job as a professor because of his personal loyalty, because he would not use pronouns. I think no other person should have power over me to tell me how I should address them. But if I'm disrespectful, I should take a look at that. And that's why I said in the last video, it's like, will respect you enough that if you give me your name, I will call you by your name. Whatever you choose to be your name, whether it's masculine or feminine, I'll call you whatever you want. But when it comes to the pronouns and people keep adding new pronouns to it, well, now you're trying to control me. Because if I adhere to what you want me to call you, you have power over me. That'd be like me saying, call me King Scott, gorilla, pimp of all the women in the world. And you didn't call me by that, and then I'm offended by it? That's bullshit. Be stronger than that. Live your life, love your life, and let that be the generation of all your confidence. Not if somebody disagrees with calling you what you want to be called. That's crap. It is. That you're trying to have power over somebody else, right? Call me this, or I'll feel disrespected or violated. No, you can make up whatever you want. Like I said, you can call me whatever title that I request of you. It doesn't mean that I'm offended. I would never ask you to call me king, gorilla, all that stuff. Never. And I'm not trying to be offended if you don't. Scott. You can call me Scotty. I won't be too offended. Address me by my name. That's a simple solution around all the pronouns and everything. Scott was just here, not him, hers, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm going off on a tangent. It's a different belief set, but you shouldn't let go of your personal loyalty. You know what I'm saying? If you just want to avoid the storm that you might get from somebody and say, okay, sir, or whatever it is, do it. That's fine. If you just want to fly underneath the radar and avoid confrontation, that's fine too. But if it goes against your personal loyalty, you should stand up and say, no, your name is Jenny, or your name is Tom, or whatever, right? I'll call you by that. I'll show you that respect. If you change the name in your birth certificate to sir, I'll call you that. That's fine too. Going off on a tangent. The whole idea is that relates to personal loyalty. And I think we should never let go of that, because more times than not, we're going to die alone. And if you're lucky enough to have 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 30 seconds to reflect on your life, I couldn't imagine the pain that you would feel if you adhered to everything that everybody else wanted you to be, but let go of what you wanted yourself to be, which is personal loyalty. That would suck. Now, I'm not on my deathbed. I could die in 30 seconds. It happens. But I don't want to sit there and think that I let go of myself. I am my priority. I love myself more than anybody else. That's the way it is. Not to say that I'm going to be selfish, right? But I'm my first priority. And if I have people in my life that I love and I support, I'm not going to give up my first priority, which is me. Because I can't support the other people in my life that I love. If I do that, I'd be weak, right? So be strong, be loyal to yourself. Then you can be an example, be a stronger person for the people that you love in your life. For instance, if you have self-control, dedication, you do the right thing. It's different for everybody. If you do the right thing and you have discipline, you live your life that way, you could be a representative for other people. Not saying you want to ask them to change, but you can show them, hey, this is how I live. It's all good. Man, I'm virtue signaling. Shit, I didn't even realize that. I just started babbling, and I'm not saying I'm like that. I'm not perfect or anything. I'm babbling. Let me just get back to what I wanted to say in the beginning. Jordan Peterson, he has personal loyalty. And there was an interview that he just did. After I upload this, maybe I'll throw the link in there. The guy is a genius. Philosopher, I'd call him. 12 Rules to Life. That book is amazing. I can't deal with the religious stuff too much. It distracts me. Then I lose his point that he's trying to get across. But he has a lot of great points. And if you ever watch an interview that he does, he doesn't pre-write it. He's not prepared. He freestyles it. And if you watch any of those interviews, I mean, there's a lot of popular ones where he just uses logic sticks to his opinion, which is personal loyalty, and he shuts the other person down. Only because the other people tend to want to attack him because he's becoming such a influence on society. But he doesn't let go of what he believes. He says it truly and honestly, and he backs it up. So solid that you can't object to what he's saying logically. I mean, for the most part, when you see these videos. But that's what I'm saying is stay true to yourself. If you have to do some studying or some research to back up your beliefs, if you want to share them, maybe you don't. Maybe you want to stay quiet. That's cool too. But having conversations with people to understand them better, find something you can connect with them on, is very important. So you should maybe pick a few things that you truly believe in, that you're passionate about. Research them, so if you get into a conversation and it goes off to a place where you're uncomfortable, find a way to steer it back to something you're comfortable with and something you've researched and that you're passionate about. That's going to help the other person get to know you better. So it's a big circle, but if we lose personal loyalty, then are you faking it? Are you an actor? What are you doing? And if somebody likes you because you're an actor, do you go home and go to sleep and feel good about yourself? Because they like the persona that you put on? You can see personas on YouTube all over the place. Tate, he has some very good points, but I don't like that guy. I don't. Very popular. I just don't like him. I don't like the guy as his personality. That's fine. He probably wouldn't like me either, but it doesn't matter. And maybe if you have personal loyalty, maybe that's a way that you can weed through people quicker. Like, there's no way I can get along with this person. I don't want to tell them that, but if I just show myself, I know it's such a contrast to their personality that they're not going to want to spend time with me, so there's no pressure. Instead of saying, fuck you, It's a navigation that we all go through with personal relationships. But again, the thing that we need to stay true to, because people are disposable, relationships are disposable, and we're here with ourselves from birth to death. Nobody else, right? You're here with a temporary time with your parents, and then you might have a relationship. You might get married at 18, leave your parents' house, and then be with your partner until you're dead. But nobody's there for you throughout your entire life except for yourself. I mean, you might be able to find one example that is conflicting what I'm saying, but for the most part, that's what it is. So you should be able to be cool with yourself through the whole time, knowing that, and you might die alone. So be true to yourself, personal loyalty. But throughout the travel, throughout the path, you can find ways to connect with people. And I tell you what, just a simple conversation can open up a friendship that can last for decades. And it's finding something you can connect on. All your disagreements, those can go away, fall on the wayside. Maybe there's certain things you don't talk about. But if you can connect with people, that's great. If you don't lose personal loyalty to your beliefs, your opinions, you're on the path. But anyways, Jordan Peterson, I'll throw a link in the description for his video. It is amazing. And he starts to tear up. Now, okay, so it's not toxic masculinity because he tears up. He's very passionate. I respect that like crazy. Now, he didn't start bawling like a little kid, but you can tell when he was talking about things that he truly believed in. And the way society, he was talking in particular about men not opening up like I'm talking about and engaging in society. They look at what's going on, they're like, why? Why do I fight for this? I'm going to get turned down. I'm not going to find a wife because they're so picky and all this other bullshit. And he's being supportive of that. He's saying, hey, man, you're going to have to deal with this shit yourself and get it together. At least have the personal loyalty and the confidence where you can make those changes. Because if you're still not finding a partner, at least you know you did what you needed to do to feel better, to be able to make yourself more marketable or socialize better, all that stuff. Jordan Peterson is an icon of being manly. Even though he cried or teared up, whatever, there's different spectrums or different personalities that come with being manly, masculine. He is just remarkable, and plus he's so intelligent. Can't test him. I mean, you can. He's going to come back with some fire. That's what I love about watching his videos. He always comes back with some fire, not disrespectfully, but he comes back with so much intelligence. You can't debate what he's trying to say. He's thought about it so much, and he's so deep as an intelligent thinker. Jocko Willink, I mean, that's another spectrum of masculinity. Perseverance, he's amazing too. I don't quite like watching his videos because it's a little harsh on the ears and it's not too lively with the video, but he's just amazing. Joe Rogan. And there's a lot of people that represent positive masculinity, and a lot of the things that they all have in common, or one thing that most everybody has in common that represents masculinity, is personal loyalty. The weakest thing you could do is give up your personal beliefs and buckle, right? So when we look at tribalism, that's what it is. It's mean I don't want to speak up for myself, my personal beliefs, because my friend here might shut me down or not want to hang out with me, or my job might fire me. You know, there's all these different things where if you stand up for your personal beliefs and have personal loyalty, that some people will just cut you off. Well, if you look at it that way, are those people that you want to have in your life? That you have to qualify your existence in their life by agreeing with them? Think about that for a minute. Right? The people that stick around in your life for the longest time, I know this from experience. Haven't had relationships last throughout the majority of my life, but I had friendships that do. And for the most part, we find things that we disagree on, and we might give each other shit, but we always find something we can connect on. So if you base your relationships on that while still keeping your personal loyalty, you're off to building a better life for yourself, as opposed to being confrontational about everything and everybody that disagrees with you or your beliefs, right? I think religion has shown us in history that people die for that, you know, because they disagree and they want to kill people that don't agree with them. So we know there's people out there like that. So I think on an individual basis, the best thing we can do is find something you can connect on first. Then it's more palatable when you come to a disagreement, right? Like you might find a few things you connect on, have a great conversation, a hobby that you have in common, or whatever. And then if you disagree later on, it's more palatable. Like they're like, whatever, fuck you, you're stupid. But you're still friends because you already connected on something. But if we start relationships or get to a point where we disagree first, like I want to have power over you because I won this conversation, or vice versa, instantly. But if you find something you connect on first, you can build a friendship or a relationship, right? But the whole time you should have personal loyalty in the forefront. I mean, you should totally be thinking about that, because if you give up your personal loyalty to be able to fit in or make friends, eventually you're going to be disappointed, not with them, but with yourself. And you live with yourself for the longest period of life. I mean, nobody will be with you from birth to death unless you die a short life by accident or murder, whatever, and that kind of shit. So live your life like you're the only person in your life, and respect yourself, love yourself first, and build off of that, and then find people to connect with. But maintain your personal loyalty. That's all you got, right? I mean, your loyalty to somebody else could have value for them, but if you don't have personal loyalty to yourself, you're not bringing much value to the loyalty that you offer to somebody else first. So if you're established, you're a strong person, you got your shit together, and you put yourself first, and then you lend to somebody else.